So we also all go through setbacks, right? I mean, globally, we had a pandemic, and I have to say personally, it's been the best 2.5 years of my life. I mean, financially, I've done great. My family life has been great. My health has been really good. My wife had a surgery, that's been a setback. Had her first grandson. Overall, it's been great for me, but I know that for a lot of people, it's been a time of real stress, setback for a lot of people, financial challenges. Yeah, we've all had those in our lives at various times and had to pick ourselves back up again. What do you see as like the thing that people maybe miss to then go to quickly to kind of get themselves reframed and back on track rather than making a whole big production out of a setback?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the key terminology. How do you reframe, right? Because we're framing or reframing or deframing any situation, any scenario in every single second of our lives. The scary part is we don't consciously do it all the time. So how can we reframe, right? That, or in other words, how can you shift your paradigm? How can you change your mindset in any moment about any situation that's going or taking place? And, setbacks are inevitable, right? If you think it's going to be sunshine and rainbows and unicorns and gummy balls and, all that fun stuff all the time, I think you're in the wrong business, right? And I don't know too many industries or businesses or that are it's just all happy all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, can we choose to be happy? Can we choose to be grateful? Can we choose to be in a more resourceful emotional state during these setbacks and challenges and difficult times? Absolutely. But it's how we have that internal, again, dialogue. One of the things that Tony says, and I'll reference Tony, of course, just because he's been my mentor for the last now 19 years. And next month, tomorrow, will be my 12-year mark working with Tony. And, one of the phrases that has been key for my success, but also going through difficult times, is life is always happening for you, not to you. And it's easy for us to, have an experience and say, why is this always happening to me? Right? Why did the pandemic happen to me? Why did this happen in my relationship? Why is this always happening to me? Right?
Right.
And of course, do bad things happen to good people? Of course it does. Do challenging times fall upon everybody at times? Yes. But what if we were to reframe it and rephrase it to why is this happening to me versus why is this happening for me? And really taking a step back and not saying it's a setback, but saying it's a set up. Because in our breakdowns is our breakthroughs. And it's these tests that we experience equate our testimonies. And we all have challenging times. We all have difficult times. And, I saw this somewhere and it's kind of, it's kind of brutal, but I love it as well too. No one cares about your challenges or struggles or the things that are happening, until you have the success, right? And it's kind of straight to the point and direct, is like, no one wants to hear your sad story until you have success. And
so true. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom cares, maybe not. Maybe she cares.
Yeah. And so how can we reframe why, how is this happening for me versus why is it happening to me, right? Yeah. So I'd say that's definitely a big key distinction. And if we can, not just a simple phrase, but if we could really incorporate into our identity as a core value, as a core belief, the game would change just with that by itself.
It's funny you say that. When COVID, we shut down in LA County in March of 2020, I'd been working at that point for about a year, and I built up a huge pipeline of business that like 28 escrows were all going to cancel because of the court closing. I worked so hard to get to that point. I was just crushed. Physically, I was tired, crushed emotionally. At this table, I remember just putting my head down crying. And I remember Tony Robbins always says, if you want a better outcome, ask a better question. And so instead of asking, why is this happening to me? I remember asking the question, what do I need to do to make this into a blessing for me? The whole world's going through it. So if I could just figure this thing out and make the appropriate changes, what otherwise would be a setback would be, a great opportunity. And in fact, I had to give up my strategy of going to court every day because the court closed. Couldn't do anything about that. but I moved my business online. Like I started this phone call about 2.5 years ago, and a couple other things I did, these Zoom calls, and it's transformed my business. It's been phenomenal, and it's fun. I enjoy it. Met people all around the world. And so you're right. Nobody cared when I was sitting here crying about my business. Nobody cared. And that's what's fun part. They cared. Today, people are like, well, how can I help? How can I help them be successful? And the answer is, I think you have to ask yourself a more empowering question.